Dave Hall is a Canucks and prospect writer for Canucks Army. We've been loving his content, and he's here making his Sekeres Price debut. Hi, Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing great, boys. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. More than welcome. We've been loving the work you've been doing, stepping into the big shoes of Chris Faber. How has that gone for you here in the early weeks?
Yeah, there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's big shoes to fill, and I knew that. And it's been great. Chris did a really good job, filling me in and just kind of working with me and just making sure that everything just kind of transitions smoothly. But it's been great, and he's been awesome. We're still in contact, and it's been big shoes, and I just appreciate everyone's support, and everyone's been really, really awesome. So
support shoes. I feel like we're in an orthotic store right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, what do you think? Like a size 12, size 13 with Faber?
Oh, I'm thinking at least 13.
At least 13.
I hope you use that. Hope you use that spray they use in the bowling alley. If you're going to be stepping right into those shoes.
Yeah, no, I'm packing my shoes with some stuff in the front.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, first things first, big Canuck news yesterday outside of the 3-1 win over Anaheim, the Anthony Beauvillier trade. Your 2 cents, Dave.
Well, I mean, look, at the end of the day, you're shedding 4.15 off the cap. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you're getting in return, in my opinion. If they're willing to take it with no strings attached, then you're taking it and running. It's almost criminal at that point. So, yeah, do I wish that he was, if he worked out in the top 6? Yes. Do I wish he was scoring goals for us? Of course. But, like I said, at the end of the day, you're shedding $4 million. Now you can go big game hunting, and, hopefully he can find his game next to Connor Bedard or something like that. So
does the fifth round pick excite you at all? Does that add anything to the organization?
Well, as a prospect guy, sure. I like those later round picks anyways. Those are the fun ones to catch up on. But no, I mean, like I said, at this point, they could have offered us, shoes, Chris Faber's shoes, and we would have taken it. It's just one of those things. You're shedding $4 million in this day and age at this time of the year. It doesn't always come by every day. So I just think it's a win no matter what.
Tocchet says there's a couple of guys pushing in Abbotsford on the wing or at forward. Who would you look at down on the farm and say opportunity here with Beauvillier gone?
Well, I think right off the bat, obviously we've got guys like Jack Stednica, who was recently sent down. So he's kind of seems like, maybe he would just come right back up. Sheldon Dries is another guy that brings experience that they're well aware of. I think if he's talking prospects, I think he's probably alluding to someone like Linus Karlsson, who had his debut a couple weeks ago. And, he looked pretty good. He stayed true to his game, and, he was grinding in the corners and even got some late shifts there. So I think he's probably on the radar. Of course, you can't knock Archdeep Bains. He's a little banged up right now. He missed the weekend games, but, he's obviously contributing like crazy down there. So he brings a lot of speed and grit to the lineup. I can't see them, he must be on their radar. And then there's guys like Atu Ratu. I know a lot of people have said that, he might be ready to come up. I personally would like him to stay on my personal level. I'd like him to stay down. I think he's doing some great stuff, but I still think, there's no rush in grabbing him up. I just think there's too many names above him that would warrant a call up. And then of course there's Podkolzin, who returned from injury last week. Personally, I thought he's looked a little timid and maybe just a little rusty. He's obviously coming off a pretty traumatic injury and a month off. So it's been a little bit slow in his first 4 games, but of course he's always an option. But I personally, I would like him to stay down and just kind of, get some more reps down there, especially coming off an injury. So
really too bad that injury happened and that it's traumatic, like you talked about, because the start to Podkolzin's season, I mean, if he doesn't have that injury, are we talking about like a necessity call up right now from Podkolzin?
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it the night before the injury. He had that overtime goal. It was just tremendous. That was vintage Podkolzin for what we thought we were getting when we drafted him in the first round. Head down, driving the net, and we were seeing that on a nightly basis. And it was really nice to see. Not only that, he was setting up in Petey's shop, taking tons of one-timers. He's still doing that, which is nice. But yeah, it is a big shame. Obviously, health comes first, and we're just happy that he's healthy. But it is a shame because he was on track to be doing some nice things there.
Cole McWard made his season debut in the NHL last night Tuesday night after playing 5 games last year. What did you make of McWard? And tell us a little bit more about his season.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He played 9 minutes and change, so it was a small sample size, but I thought he played well. He didn't stand out, which in this case is complimentary. He just made simple plays, and that's kind of his game, to be honest. He's not a very flashy player. He just kind of gets the job done, shows up, does his work. He can play in all situations. One thing I did find interesting was when they mentioned that Rick Tocchet thinks that he will thrive in the NHL as opposed to the AHL because of the structure. And I kind of chuckled when I heard that, because I can totally see it, because that's just the game that he plays. He's just a simple, he doesn't mess around. He just makes the easy play. He doesn't try to do too much with it. And, I just think he's got, he doesn't have crazy upside, but I think he can definitely slot in as a third pairing guy for sure.
Well, I wanted to ask you, Dave, a ton of options down there in Abbotsford, whether it's Christian Willander, Matt Irwin, who's a veteran guy, has played many NHL games.
Yeah.
Philip Johansson, who one time, of course, a first-round pick, has played professionally. Jed Wu, and yet they've gone with McWard and Hirose, whom Tocchet seems a little hesitant to put into the lineup. What have you made of the choices they have made there in terms of call-ups on defense?
Yeah, well, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to two things. One of them being contracts. Obviously, Hirose and McWard are just the easy ones to just go up and down with the two-way ability there. And then, of course, injuries. I think a couple weeks ago when Susie first went down, Willander is probably slotting in there, but unfortunately, he's actually been out for 2 weeks now with an injury. I'm still unsure what it actually is, but he hasn't been playing. So I think if he's healthy, he probably does get the call. I think he slides in easily in that top six, and also could probably even play PP2. Obviously Canucks are going with that Hronek Hughes line on the top, so he could probably even play some power play time, but he is injured. So I think it just comes down to the contracts. I just think they were easy choices to just slide up and down. They weren't sure how long the injuries were going to be. And in terms of Hirose over McWard, I think at the end of the day, I think they just wanted to make sure they kept McWard playing games, and Hirose, who's a little bit older, maybe doesn't have as much upside, they just felt was the easy choice to just sit in the press box for a little bit, as unfortunate as it is.
Some guys up with the Vancouver Canucks want to make sure that they never see Abbotsford again. Nils Höglander is one of them. Noah Juulsen's another guy, and he's been earning the praise of his teammates for his attitude and what he's been able to bring to the table. And he's been in the lineup. It's as simple as that. He's been getting the tap from Rick Tocchet. Do you think he has, for the most part, seen the end of the American Hockey League?
Yeah, it appears that way. I don't want to knock him too hard, because who am I to say? I don't know. I just think I did like what Tocchet said about him in the press conference last night post game, saying that when he's playing a simple game, he's better. So it just seems like less is more with him, which I'm okay with.
He's unspectacular. There's no question about it. We are never going to see him making headlines, I don't think, unless he somehow finds his way into the score sheet.
And the other thing is he played at least 11 and a half minutes in 9 consecutive games here for the Canucks.
Yeah. He's getting used, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, Tocchet likes something with him, and that, all power to him. I personally don't see it. I haven't really liked his game. I just feel like he's really slow. He's trying to do a lot out there, which, like I just said, less is more. He seems to be a little bit better when he's doing less, but I just think at this point Cole McWard is probably a better option. I've even kind of liked Jed Wu's game, to be honest. He's got a contract that doesn't really allow to go up and down, so that's gonna keep him down, to be honest. But I just think at this point, I just think there's options. McWard, Friedman, Wu, take your pick, and I just think it's a better option right now. But obviously, Tocchet disagrees and he sees something with him. So,
Höglander, do you think Höglander has seen his final healthy scratch in the NHL? And then the other suite who has come up here, your thoughts on Nils Höglander and his season today?
Yeah, I think Höglander should be staying. I just think, what he's been doing in the past month has just been phenomenal. I think he's seen his last day in Abbotsford for sure. I just don't see any point of keeping him down. He's obviously got the message, and it's nice that he's only playing a handful of minutes every night, but he's making them count. And I just think he's definitely worth staying up, and especially with Beauvillier gone, he's just an obvious choice now. Nils Höglander, he's come as advertised. He's just kind of like McWard. He's just a no nonsense guy. He plays a good PK. He's good on the defensive end, and he can chip in a little bit on the offense. So I think for now, he's a good option up the middle. I don't know if he's, the long-term option, but I think for now, he's definitely, pulling his weight. And I think go ahead.
No, you go ahead, finish up.
I just think he's probably he's probably staying up for a while as well, I'd assume now.
Do you think Höglander can hang in the top 6 if need be?
Yeah, I think, I mean, the short stints, yeah. I at the same time, as much as we all want to see him there, I just don't know if he needs to be. I mean, it's clear that I think now that Beauvillier is gone, not that he was playing, all these crazy top 6 minutes, I think the Canucks probably do need one more go-to scorer. And I just don't know if Höglander is going to be that go-to scorer. And I just think his game really tailors well to the third line energy role. And then, plug him in on those top lines when needed. When they need a bit of a spark, he can jump up and deliver some offense. But I just, at this point, I just think it's working. And I just don't think you need to change that personally.
All this optimism around the NHL club, and yet the cupboards are also providing some optimism, and I think a little bit of surprise optimism. I don't know that we expected guys like Hunter Brzustewicz to catch our attention as much as they have. The rehabilitation of Jonathan Lekkerimäki started so well this season, and Tom Willander is getting all sorts of accolades as well. Walk us through the cupboard and some of the pleasant surprises that the organization has seen there as well.
Yeah, well, I think first things first, Lekkerimäki has to be the number one. I'm really excited for people who don't get to see him on a day-to-day basis, get to see him at the World Juniors, because it really just is a night and day change from last year. And I think at this point, we've realized that there is some merit to the fact that he had some injuries and was going through some stuff last year, because he just looks like a completely different player. And, he's scoring goals at the SHL level. He's, doing he's doing his best to get into the dirty areas. Of course, there's still concerns about him getting in the middle and, being that physical character. But at the end of the day, I just don't know if he's going to be that guy. And I just think we have to take his shot for what it is. And it's just been exciting. So he's definitely been the top pleasant surprise. Hunter Brzustewicz, of course, I don't think anyone saw this coming. He's on pace for over 100 points right now. And he's just been so impressive, to be honest. Yeah, the 40 points in 24 games is impressive, but just his overall game is just so smooth, and his outlet passes are just incredible. So yeah, he's been a lot of fun to watch. I would assume he's going to be up in the AHL next year, so we should get views on him in the pro level pretty quick here. So that's exciting. And yeah, as again, you mentioned Tom Willander, he's come as advertised as well. He's just so fun to watch. He's just an elite skater. His defense is amazing. He just doesn't let people get past him all that often, to be honest. So overall, it's quite the time to be taking over Chris Faber's shoes, I got to say, because it's
you got the good stuff.
He did all the heavy lifting, and I'm kind of it's been great, but it's not always going to be this good, I'm sure. But everyone's slowed down a little bit. It's even Hunter Brzustewicz, he's still firing at a huge clip, but he's getting some secondary assists in there. It's not coming in 5 points a night and all that stuff. And Lekkerimäki hasn't scored in 4 games now, so things are slowing down. So it's not, October was just a wild month, but yeah, it's good. It's a good time.
So the headline is Dave Hall develops prospects better than Chris Faber. Is that okay?
Yeah,
we'll run with that.
Yeah, bad luck guy gone. Yeah. Good luck guy in. And happy birthday to Hunter Brzustewicz. It's his 19th birthday today. You mentioned the 40 points, Dave. Struck by the stat line last year: 651 for 57. This year, 634 for 40 in 25 games, as opposed to the 68 he played last year with the Kitchener Rangers. So an extraordinary development. Look forward to seeing him and the Sweets at the World Juniors. Is there any other Canuck prospect that you would think has a chance of making a World Junior outfit, Dave? Sorry to put you on the spot here, but is there anybody else?
That's okay. Tracking? Yeah. I mean, I'd be pretty shocked if Elias Pettersson wasn't there. He's a returnee. He did get injured at the Five Nations tournament, it looks like, a couple weeks ago, but he has returned to his lineup. So I think he's a pretty good chance to get in that top 6. Not going to be a flashy player like Willander. He's not going to be playing power play time or anything like that, but he'll kill penalties and get into the dirty areas and all that. But yeah, he should be there. But other than that, I think that's probably going to be their lineup right there, the top 4. And with that said, Brzustewicz, I personally think he's there at 40 points in 24 games. You can't knock that. But there has been some rumblings that, the U.S. program isn't always keen on bringing those players.
The CHL guys, yeah.
The CHL guys, the traders that decided to cross over the border. So, again, I think he's there. I just don't think you can look away from what he's done. But, yeah.
Well,
it's the reverse Hockey Canada treatment, right? For years we talked about Hockey Canada's treatment of NCAA players. I think that's for the most part gone, but out of sight, out of mind in some cases.
Ooh, the one thing we had talked about previously, though, it's a pretty good group of USA defenders. You've got first round picks there. You've got kids like Lane Hudson, who is just tearing up the NCAA ranks at Boston University. So, yeah, if Brzustewicz makes the team, I wouldn't imagine it's in a more forward sort of top pair.
Might not
role.
be PP1, but
with Hudson, I'm not sure anyone's playing PP1.
Willander knows all about that.
Yeah. Rinzel, a first round pick there, a bunch of second rounders as well, who went to their summer camp. Hey, Dave, fantastic stuff. First of many. Thank you for this.
Yeah, long time listener, first time caller. So thanks for having me, boys. It was a blast.
This clip brought to you by the VGH Millionaire Lottery. Order now for your chance to win one of 10 grand prizes. For tickets, go to millionairelottery.com.